Welcome back to another edition of Golden Under the Dome. My name is Tom Golden, State Representative from the City of Lowell and the town of Chelmsford. Over the past 3 sessions, I was fortunate to be the House Chair of Telecommunications, Utility, and Energy. We thought it would be a good idea to do an energy in review. Over the past 2 decades, what has the Massachusetts House of Representatives been concentrating on? And how has the Massachusetts House of Representatives been accelerating the Commonwealth towards its clean energy future? All of this has been built towards what we find ourselves today, hopefully the passage of the Next Generation Roadmap. So let's begin in 1997 with the Restructuring Act. Once again, that was over 2 decades ago. The Restructuring Act changed the energy world forever in the Commonwealth of Mass. Our electric utility companies at one time used to own all of the power plants that kept our lights on. Under the Restructuring Act, it required that the electric utility companies sell off all of their plants. And this opened the door for opportunity for the clean energy economy to participate. During this time frame, we also created the Renewable Portfolio Standard. In 2003, the RPS was set at 1%, and it increased by 0.5% annually, reaching 4% in 2009. A little while later, in 2008, we created the Global Warming Solutions Act, the Green Communities Act, and the Green Jobs Act. This trio of sweeping legislation really put the Commonwealth on a new trajectory. In the Global Warming Solutions Act, it set a 2050 target to reduce emissions by 80%. It was in line with science at the time to limit global warming to 2 degrees Celsius. In the Green Communities Act, we created the Green Communities Program, which today 271 municipalities are now participating in. We also created a framework for the statewide Mass Save Energy Efficiency Program. We also had the solar and renewable programs in this act that jump-started the industry that we know today in Massachusetts. And once again, accelerating that RPS increase from 0.5% to 1% annually. We also had that opportunity to create the framework around solar net metering. In the Green Jobs Act, passed in the same year, it created the so important Massachusetts Clean Energy Center. Mass CEC has been instrumental in growing the clean energy industry to an almost $14 billion industry right here in the Commonwealth. That represents 3.1% of the overall Massachusetts economy. Although around 14,000 jobs of the state's 111,000 clean energy jobs have been lost during this pandemic, Mass CEC will play a critical role in our green recovery. Our goal is not to gain only 14,000 jobs back, but to double it and to triple it. In 2014, we passed gas leaks legislation. It began the first of our 4 consecutive sessions where the Massachusetts House acted to address gas leaks or gas safety. That was done in 2014, 2016, 2018, and again in 2020. And in 2014, the law addressed gas safety related to gas leaks. It provided uniform classification for gas leaks based on public safety impacts, grades 1, 2, and 3 leaks. And it set the timelines for inspection and repair. Now we jump forward to 2016, the Energy Diversity Act. This established the framework for the largest procurement of clean energy in our Massachusetts history. It including 1,600 megawatts of offshore wind and 1,200 megawatts of hydropower. It also put forward historic competitive procurements to make sure that the ratepayers here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts got the best bang for their buck. Jumping to 2016 with the Solar Act, we directed the State Energy Agency, DOER, to create a new solar program. And that became known as SMART, the SMART program, which had a goal of building 3,200 megawatts of solar throughout the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. In 2018, the Advanced Clean Energy Act, once again, we accelerated the renewable portfolio standard from 1% to 2% for 10 years, from 2019 to 2029. In 2018, the RPS was 13%. In 2030, it will be 35%. More to follow on that one. We also created a first in the nation clean peak standard. We authorized yet an additional 1,600 megawatts of offshore wind. DOER decided on May 31st of 2019 that they should move forward and put that out for bid. 1,000 megawatt hour energy storage target was put forth. We authorized Mass Save to create programs to switch heating systems to renewable energy and clean heating and cooling technologies. We also, once again, required gas utility companies to report to DPU all the lost and accounted gas. Now, the next generation roadmap. This fulfilled the House's commitment, which we made in 2020 to pass legislation achieving net zero by 2050. The House roadmap bill was passed in July of 2020. The Senate's climate initiative, the Next Generation Climate Policy, was passed in the Senate in February of 2020. Some of the major highlights in both of the House and the Senate roadmap include the obvious: net zero emissions by 2050, 5-year emission limits, environmental justice for all of our communities, an offshore wind increase, appliance energy efficiency standards, gas pipeline safety provisions yet again, another increase in the renewable portfolio, equitable access for low-income individuals to solar programs, $12 million to Mass CEC on an annual basis so they could have clean energy, equity workforce development, business solar incentives, the first ever municipal light plant greenhouse gas emission standard where net zero is going to happen by 2050 in the MLPs. The conference committee worked hard and tirelessly from July until January 4th. We're on January 4th of 2021. The best compromise piece was put forward by the House and the Senate for the Next Generation Climate Bill.
I rise in support of Senate Bill 2995, an act creating next generation roadmap for Massachusetts climate policy.
It was laid on the governor's desk on January 4th of 2021. Unfortunately, the governor did veto the bill because he didn't have enough time to consider the bill and send back those amendments. But I'm very proud to say that Speaker Mariano and Senate President Spilka jointly agreed to refile this piece of legislation. The identical language of the conference report was filed on January 18th in 2021, and it is known as Senate 9. The legislature remains committed to advancing this path-breaking legislation again to the governor's desk. We know that the governor will have his ideas and his thoughts, and we will take those into consideration. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to once again move the Commonwealth of Massachusetts into the right direction, into the direction of a cleaner and greener economy. Please, I hope you all stay tuned as we move forward on this critical issue. We're looking forward to all of the emails and the phone calls that we've been receiving and the support and the ways to make the piece of legislation better. And we look forward to this getting done early on in this session. Once again, my name is Tom Golden, State Representative from the City of Lowell and the town of Chelmsford, and I appreciate you taking the time to listen to this podcast. And please feel free to send any of your ideas and thoughts of things that we should talk about in the future. Have a great day.